Hi, everybody, and welcome to What's So Great About Grimsby, the place where we talk about the individuals and organization working together to make Grimsby, Ontario a fabulous place to live and work and play. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kyle Dorr from St. John's Presbyterian Church in Grimsby. And if you haven't done so, please consider clicking the subscribe button on this video. We post new content each day that provides help and encouragement for your life. And we're trying to post a new episode of What's So Great About Grimsby each week, because there's a lot of wonderful stories to tell about what happens in Grimsby, but also some really great ways that you can get involved in what's happening in our community. Today, really glad that we can be visited by a person who does some incredible work with a really wonderful organization in our community. Jen Jolivar is the bereavement clinician with the McNally House Hospice here in Grimsby. Hey, Jen, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is with McNally House?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm the bereavement clinician or bereavement counselor here at McNally. So I kind of oversee all of our bereavement services that we offer to the community, including doing individual counseling and all of our volunteer and group-based services. I went to high school in Grimsby, so I'm quite familiar with the community. I just recently moved away, unfortunately, but
we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm certainly glad to be working in a town that I'm so familiar with.
What kinds of things do you do as a bereavement clinician?
Mm-hmm. So I am, being a bereavement clinician, I'm a registered psychotherapist. So I do offer individual therapy to anyone in the community needing bereavement supports at no cost. You don't have to be affiliated with McNally to access any of our services. And then the rest of it, my job is very much just kind of like overseeing and offering things like workshops and things like that to the community.
Well, that's great. Well, there's a really meaningful and timely workshop coming up on December the 1st that you are presiding over and leading with McNally House. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Hope for the Holidays?
Yeah, so Hope for the Holidays is our workshop that we offer. This will be, I believe, our third time offering it, all about coping with grief through the holiday season. We talk about different things like what makes grieving during the holidays such a difficult time. We touch a little bit on self-care, coping strategies specific to the holiday season, so people can kind of feel maybe a bit more prepared going into that time of year. And also making some suggestions or giving some ideas for folks to consider about how might you want to integrate acknowledging the loss during the holiday seasons with perhaps like new traditions or just ways of, I guess, paying attention to your grief. It's
quite clear too that there is not just one way to grieve, or everyone's journey through grief is a little bit different. So it sounds like maybe you're able to kind of allow space for that in your workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're certainly just about giving people information and ideas, and we certainly encourage people to think about how does that resonate with your own grief experience. And certainly this year, kind of an added component to the workshop is going to be navigating grief during the holidays on top of COVID.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. And now, have you sort of seen that there's been a lot more grief, kind of a heavier sense of grief this year with COVID happening as well, or?
Yeah, I think we've kind of all experienced a bit of a collective grief in the sense that there's been a lot of loss happening over this year, both in terms of death-related losses and non-death-related losses. So I think we've definitely all sensed that kind of collective heaviness. But in terms of grieving death-related losses, I think folks who are grieving during this time face a whole host of additional challenges that maybe that they wouldn't have faced otherwise. So that has definitely been a challenge in trying to be there for those people, especially during a time when we weren't able to be seeing a lot of people in person.
So what does kind of your workshop sort of look like? Can you walk us through? Is it sort of a teaching time or discussion components, or sort of how will the time flow?
Yeah, so this year it's going to be our first time offering it virtually. And the workshop does include components of providing information and ideas, but we also really like to integrate opportunities for discussions and people to share their thoughts or reflections. Now navigating that over Zoom will be something new for us, but we're certainly still open to doing that because we want this to be a real dialogue within the community. We want to be able to talk about grief and what helps. So that part I think is really important for us to have that back and forth.
Well, that's great. And so you're meeting on Zoom, and it's on December the 1st at 7 p.m. If somebody wants to participate, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can contact our community engagement coordinator, Amanda Black. You can reach her at our phone number, 905-309-4013, extension 31, or you can email her at ablack@McNallyHouseHospice.com.
Okay, that's great. And I will put that contact information in the video description as well. If you're watching and you're wondering what that is, I will put the number and the email address there as well. Now, in terms of the workshop, what's sort of the time frame that you'll run?
We're planning for it to be an hour and a half in length. Certainly if we have more discussion, we're happy to accommodate that, but we're thinking about an hour and a half.
Okay. And as you said too, it's not just for folks associated with McNally House. Obviously the link with the care and work that the hospice provides kind of goes hand in hand with your work, but anybody can be a part of that, right?
Absolutely. We're open for anyone registering for this workshop. And that's kind of been the nice thing about Zoom as well, is that people who may not have been able to attend in person now have this other way of connecting and getting this information. And if anyone is needing kind of maybe a few pointers with Zoom in terms of accessing our workshop, we're certainly happy to try to troubleshoot with them over the phone if we can.
Yeah, certainly that's for sure. So if you've got Zoom questions, you can reach out to the folks at McNally House, or you can drop us a line at St. John's. We're happy to help with Zoom. We've walked a few people through it as well, and so let's we want to remove as many barriers as we can to participating in this really meaningful workshop that is going to be happening on December the 1st. Now, if someone's not available December 1st, or sometimes life happens, is there an opportunity to do some learning after that date?
Yeah, I think if anyone is interested in connecting with me afterwards, I'm certainly happy to talk with you over the phone, maybe send you a copy of the presentation PDF. And yeah, absolutely. We might even consider recording it. I'm not sure where we've landed with that, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm so thankful that we've got a group like McNally House and someone with just such a caring nature about them that just is able to be present with people as their journey through grief. The holidays can be such a more complicated time for grief, because it's certainly a time that we always associate with joy and happiness and all those things, but when someone is no longer with us, those things it feels really get interrupted, and we have to find new ways of coping with that and learning to live through that type of experience. So I think that's just such a wonderful thing that you are able to provide our community. So if you are needing someone to talk to, please do not hesitate and reach out to Jen at McNally House. It's so much better to talk about things than just to keep it all to ourselves or just kind of push it down and move on. It's really helpful to be able to talk through issues like grief, and especially during a tricky time like the holidays. And so reach out to them and connect with McNally House and the Hope for the Holidays workshop. That's one of those things. It's a really difficult thing to navigate. But again, when we have a community like Grimsby, we can come together in the good times and in the times that are really tough. And that's really what's so great about Grimsby, is that we have events like the Hope for Holidays where we can support one another through the difficult times. Well, thanks so much, Jen, for taking the time to share your event with us, and really appreciate you having this conversation.
Thanks so much for having me. I hope to see a lot of you there.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Again, this has been What's So Great About Grimsby, chatting with Jen Jolibar about the Hope for Holidays workshop at McNally House. Please, again, check the video description for information how to contact Jen, and more information about the great work that McNally House does is also in that video description. Again, with November 17th being National Bereavement Day, a really fitting topic for us to think about, and glad that we can be together in this way. If you haven't done so, please click the subscribe button, and also if you know of somebody that could use some help talking through this holiday season, please share this video or share this event with someone else that would be a great support to them. I'm Kyle Dorr. This has been What's So Great About Grimsby. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.